Christian Horner, the longtime Red Bull Racing boss, has officially been fired from his position after 2 decades at the top, and taking his place in the Red Bull Empire's hierarchy is none other than Laurent Mekies, who leaves Racing Bulls and ascends straight to the top spot. But the burning question now is, who is Alan Permane, the man who arrives to lead Racing Bulls at this crucial time? You might not recognize the name at first glance, but Alan has over 30 years of experience in Formula One, working directly behind the scenes at some of the category's most historic moments. And in this video, you'll discover why he was chosen for this role. So stay until the end, like, and subscribe to the channel. On the day July 9, 2025, Red Bull Racing caused an earthquake by announcing the sudden dismissal of Christian Horner, ending 2 decades in charge of the team. It was the end of an era. Under his command, Horner conquered 6 constructors' titles and 8 pilots, elevating the team to the absolute power level in F1. But the winds began to blow against him. Investigations into his behavior at the beginning of 2024, although they resulted in his internal acquittal, the departure of key names such as the aerodynamics genius Adrian Newey, and a below-expected performance in 2024 to 25 created an atmosphere of uncertainty. The announcement added even more tension to the circuit. According to Reuters, the team was just in 4th place in the Constructors' World Championship mid-season, a contrast to the golden years under Horner. During the team's final meeting in Milton Keynes, Horner gave an emotional speech, saying that leading Red Bull was the greatest privilege of his life. And so, the iconic British chief officially, unceremoniously, took his leave. His operational duties were immediately terminated. This transitional environment had immediate impacts. With Horner gone, leadership needed to be reassumed, and quickly. That's when Laurent Mekies, who until then led Racing Bulls, the sister team based in Faenza. Mekies was elevated to the position of CEO and team principal de Red Bull Racing. Assuming the legacy and challenges left by Horner for many, the appointment of an executive with a technical and structured profile like Mekies represents a commitment to strategic continuity, a comfort in a time of instability. And who takes Mekies' place at Racing Bulls? The answer is Alan Permane, who until then held the position of racing director. Officially promoted to team principal de Racing Bulls, Permane arrives with the mission of maintaining the stability of the pillars laid out by Mekies, continuing the work that began in 2024. It's a bold move by the Austrians, keeping the structure within the Red Bull family, leveraging inherited know-how. The move was accompanied by striking statements. Corporate CEO Oliver Mintzlaff thanked Horner for his tireless dedication, experience, and innovation, recognizing his role in building one of F1's most powerful teams. On the other hand, Mekies stated that leading Racing Bulls was an absolute privilege and highlighted that Alan Permane is the perfect man to continue the work in Faenza. Likewise, Permane stated that he felt very honored and ready to collaborate with Peter Bayer in the development of the team. Alan Permane is the definition of longevity and evolution in Formula One. Born on February 4, 1967, the British driver began his motorsport journey in 1989 at the age of 22, joining the then-promising Benetton team as electronic test engineer. It was a time when Enstone, the team's headquarters, still breathed a new air of innovation and title dreams. Alan quickly rose to prominence, and by 1990, he was already on the track, working as the racing team's electronics engineer, integrating the behind-the-scenes operations team. From 1997 to 2006, Permane held positions as race engineer, driving the technical development directly from the cars of names like Gene Alesi, Jarno Trulli, and Giancarlo Fisichella. It was a crucial phase of maturation, at the height of the Benetton/Renault format. In 2007, the big turning point, it became chief race engineer, coordinating all the team's race planning. In 2011, believing in his management potential, Permane was promoted to chief operating officer, a role that took the reins of the team's organization, a position that demonstrated confidence in his leadership abilities. And, starting in 2012, it becomes sporting director of the team, a position he maintained even through the team's identity transitions, from Benetton to Renault, then Lotus, and finally Alpine. He became a reference in the paddock, a leader respected for his technical knowledge and ability to manage under pressure. Despite all the success, including titles won under his wing as an engineer in 1994 to 95 with Schumacher and 2005 to 2006 with Alonso. His departure from Alpine was abrupt. During the Belgian Grand Prix weekend in July 2023, Alpine announced its termination of his contract with him, along with other key members of the board, marking the end of an era spanning more than 34 years old at Enstone. But Permane didn't stay idle. In January 2024, he was recruited by Racing Bulls, the Faenza-based team associated with Red Bull, as racing director, alongside Laurent Mekies and CEO Peter Bayer. This role brought him back into the spotlight, resuming his track duties and supporting the development of the young technical team. Now, in July 2025, upon being promoted to team principal to Racing Bulls, Permane culminates an impressive trajectory. There are more than 3 decades on the grid, with experiences spanning testing, operational coordination, track strategy, and team politics. The perfect combination for leading in uncertain times. And here comes the most striking part. Few team principals in F1 today have such a technical background. Of the 10 teams in the current 2025 season, only Toto Wolff, Mercedes, doesn't have a direct engineering or operational background. Permane, in fact, stands out for always having been a track man. Before I continue, please like and subscribe to the channel so the YouTube algorithm recommends this video. And let's get started. Throughout his career, resilience has also been evident. In 2008, after the controversial Crashgate incident in Singapore, when Benetton was Renault, Permane remained with the team despite the dismissals of Simons and Briatore. An integral part, they say, was his testimony to the authorities, known behind the scenes as Witness X. This episode reinforced his reputation as an ethical, technically focused professional and deeply committed to the team, even in difficult times. Now, the role of team principal represents a natural progression. A technical leader who knows every aspect of the team, every development process, and who got there through merit and respect, not political connections. In his first speech as head, he declared himself very honored and emphasized the trust placed in him by Oliver Mintzlaff, Helmut Marko, and Peter Bayer, as well as his commitment to continuing the legacy left by Mekies. In January 2024, the structure of the then-called Visa Cash App RB, formerly AlphaTauri, has been completely revamped. Laurent Mekies takes over as team principal, Peter Bayer takes over as CEO, and among the key technical reinforcements is the veteran Alan Permane, racing director, coming directly from Alpine. His hiring marks the first time in over 30 years that the English engineer, born in 1967, has held a position outside the Enstone, Benetton, Renault, Lotus, and Alpine organization. Right at the start of the pre-season, already under this new structure, the team presented the Carb 01 in Las Vegas, visually reinforcing the idea of renewal. The driver lineup for 2024 combined experience in youth: Yuki Tsunoda, in his 4th season with the team, and the experienced Daniel Ricciardo, replacing Nyck de Vries and providing a balance between continuity and winning instinct. Once on track, Permane's arrival had an immediate impact. He assumed responsibility for all engineering operations during race weekends, pit stops, telemetry, real-time strategy, reporting directly to Mekies. The move between Faenza and Milton Keynes, specifically the Aero factory, which moved from Bicester to the Red Bull campus, was facilitated by its integrated vision, something Peter Bayer called a game-changer in operational integration. This allowed the team to connect the Italian and British headquarters in real time, quickly updating data, tests, and tunnel validations. During the first few stages, the team surprised by remaining solid in the middle of the pack. For example, before the Spanish GP, Racing Bulls was accumulating 28 points, occupying 6th place in the Constructors' Championship, well ahead of Haas and other candidates for the intermediate top spot. However, what could have been just a breath of hope became a test of endurance. A major update brought in Barcelona was a fiasco, throwing the team several steps back. And that's when Permane's experience shone. The reaction was immediate. He ordered a return to previous parts for the Austrian sprint and conducted accelerated technical overhauls for races like Austin and Mexico, regaining momentum from the second half of the season onwards. This moment demonstrated the strength of the new management. The team admitted its mistake, learned without ego, resumed operations, and return to technical evolution, key elements for the culture Permane sought to establish. In the final analysis, the team ended up 8th place in the Constructors' World Championship with 46 points, a slight improvement over the previous season, but with great strategic value for demonstrating resilience and responsiveness. And so, in 2024, Alan Permane showed why he was chosen, not just as a track engineer, but as a technical leader capable of applying knowledge, discipline, and confidence to a team seeking identity and performance. He integrated structures, united British and Italian operations, weathered major crises, and still kept Racing Bulls relevant in the mid-major grid. The official announcement was accompanied by some notable words. Permane thanked Oliver Mintzlaff and Helmut Marko for trust, expressing themselves thus: "I feel very honored to take on the role as team principal and would like to thank Oliver and Helmut for the trust they have shown in me." Furthermore, it recognized the strategic cooperation with Peter Bayer, making clear his determination to continue the tactical and operational advances that Racing Bulls had been making. Applauded by Mekies, who emphasized, "Alan is the perfect man to take over now and continue our path. He knows the team inside out and has always been an important pillar of our early successes." Permane reflects the executive's inner confidence, a marriage of technical expertise and natural leadership. But tell me, what did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing.